Raise your fists together. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Red and yellow, brown, black, and white. We're all precious in God's sight. Everybody is somebody. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop bullying. Save the children.
Hold your head high. Stick your chest out. You can make it. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
As you well know, this is the international aspect of the Rainbow Push Coalition initiative. I am happy to welcome all of you, and hopefully our discussions will materialize into something fruitful. I want to thank my Haitian brothers and sisters who are here. My South African folks who are also here. The Guineans, the Nigerians, the Ethiopians, and all members of the African community, not only here, but also coming in from the dark continent, which is Africa. Welcome aboard, and we will start as soon as possible. As I've indicated, this is the international aspect of the Rainbow Push Coalition, and we all know how difficult our various countries face in terms of public policy implementation and so on and so forth. We have a problem in Haiti, Mali, Nigeria, all over the place. What we are going to be discussing today is to address the critical issues and evaluating United States policies as they affect the African continent. We'll be hearing about conflict, democracy and human rights, economic development and property, and environmental problems. As you have seen, we have very distinguished individuals. Where is the Director of International Affairs for the Rainbow Push Coalition, James Gomez? Please give me a hand of applause. The forum is going to give panelists the opportunity to address issues in their respective area or issues of concern. They will also discuss solutions and U.S. foreign policy. The panelists' unique perspectives and expertise will significantly enrich our discussions and drive meaningfully progress on the critical issues as we strive to influence and shape public policy. I am now going to leave the floor open to Congressman Jonathan Jackson. Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for your participation today. Thank you, Dr. Iwa, for your contributions. I don't know, when I make brief remarks, am I turning it back over to you, Dr. Iwa? I am, okay, very well. Congressman Jackson, serving Illinois' 1st Congressional District, I have the privilege, and I thank you for it, to serve on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, as well as the Department of Agriculture, the Agricultural Committee. These two committees, I look at them as basically the same coin. If you want to see the politics of a nation, look at the food. You want to look at the food, you can see its politics. We're going through a tremendous migratory pattern across the world, and there are an enormous amount of hotspots that are emerging. We're simply focused on a few, but let me bring a few more up to your attention. What's happening to the south of our border when the former President Donald J. Trump was leaving out of office, he not only had an embargo boycott on Cuba, he called them a terrorist nation and put additional sanctions on Cuba. So if you wish to do any sort of business from outside the United States, because we don't trade with Cuba, but countries around the world, they have to take cash in order to deliver oil, cash in order to send food, and as you can imagine, trying to move bags of cash encumbers the financial transactions. They've been removed from the world financial system when you're labeled a terrorist nation. As a consequence of that, they thought they would put further pressure on collapsing the Cuban government. That's not what happened. It went the exact opposite way. 500,000 people had to leave the island in order to survive. When we put additional sanctions and tariffs on Venezuela, they wanted to do that to oust Maduro. That's not what happened. The exact opposite happened. 4 to 5 million people had to flee and go into neighboring countries. So if we want to talk about what's happening in immigration in Chicago in the United States, our immigration issues do not start at Mexico. There are people that are coming up the Pan-American Highway from Chicago, Illinois to Caracas, Venezuela. You can walk, you can bicycle, you can drive. You do not need to fly, you do not need to take a boat. It's 2,499 miles. This is a contiguous landmass. So when we wonder why people are making it up to our borders, it's because their countries had also had intervention and were excluded, and the people had to survive. When we look at what's happened to Haiti, and I don't want to call Haiti any longer the poorest country in the world. I want to call Haiti the most exploited country in the world. What's happened to Haiti has never happened in human history. And words matter, and the context in which we use it has to be clear. It's the only country that had beaten the slaver that then had to pay reparations to the enslaver. It's the only country in world history that got its freedom and then got punished for having become free. So we can never forget Haiti. Haiti is in our sights, it's in our hearts, but it's also in our soul. I tell you something else. I'm on the Black Maternal Health Caucus. Someone says, well, what are you doing on the Maternal Health Caucus? Well, everybody has a mother. Everybody came from a mother, I hope. Okay, so we should all be concerned about maternal health. In this district, within just a few short miles from here, Black women are dying at a rate of 2.5 to 3 times higher than Caucasian women giving childbirth. Right here in the heart, in the city of Chicago, in the heart of the South Side, in our district. Congressman Danny Davis and I have adjoining districts in the Inglewood area. We have the largest disparity, the largest gap in life expectancy within the same city, within the same region in the nation. It's 30 years difference. 62 years of age for Black males in West Inglewood and in Streeterville, not far from where the Navy Pier sits, less than 7 miles. There can be a life expectancy of 30 years difference. Right here in the city of Chicago. So when we think about what's happening to Haiti being off of our shores, we need to look at foreign policy another way. The last point I want to make is regarding AGOA. There's much conversation, and when I looked at the history of AGOA, and I appreciate the great work that the Ambassador Whitaker had put into it and the great work of Congressman Charlie Rangel, it was a big deal. It was a huge vision. It was uniting 49 sub-Saharan African countries to have a trade agreement, very much like the European Union. It was a big deal starting the new millennium at the turn of the century for 2000. 49 countries were included. Today, as we look at a new extension, a revival, renewal of AGOA, there are 32 countries. 17 countries in sub-Saharan Africa has been excluded. Anytime there's a changeover of a government that hadn't had an election, if it was overturned, if it was internal conflict, and I've said, hold on, give it a minute in foreign affairs. If you have found a way to make the European Union one union and no country left out, let's encourage good behavior and not be so punitive with Africa and punish them. We need to have AGOA reauthorized with all 49 sub-Saharan African countries. By definition, the science of economics is cooperation. You can't exclude people and have economics. You can't have Kenya all by itself and all the bordering countries around it have now been excluded. Africa, I am proposing, before I sit down, I've been talking with senators regarding AGOA, not 20 in 5 years, not 2025 in 5 years, not a 16-year extension. Why don't we look at a 25-year extension to AGOA? So we're looking at Africa 2050. All eyes on Africa 2050. In conclusion, why is that so important? Because by the year of 2050, Africa, 1 in 4 human beings on planet Earth will be Africans. Are we aligning ourselves with our future interests? And to the degree that we're doing behavior modification and slapping these presidents on the hand and not understanding some of the issues that they have to deal with as they try to create newly formed democracies, we've been in a democracy and we still haven't gotten it right. Who are we to put all this pressure on someone else? We still have a lunatic running around that didn't want to have a peaceful transfer of power. We still have election deniers that are in offices. We still have people that aren't going to certify elections. African nations go through the same thing. It's nature and it's power.
We got to ask, who is going to mourn and weep for us? Who is going to mourn and weep for these parents who are losing their babies after the guns and drugs have been dumped in their community?
We're excited to get more people involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. If you're interested in impacting public policies, if you believe in the scholarships that we give to thousands of students each and every year, you can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. For an annual membership of $35, or if you're a student or senior, $15, you can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. How do you become a member? Visit our website at rainbowpush.org and press join. Or maybe you'd like to support us. You can text the word PUSH, that's PUSH, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount you feel comfortable giving. You can also call us at 773-256-2775, or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you.
I'm going to call on our judge to give us a brief disposition of what Haiti looks like today. Judge Jean-Baptiste.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am honored to be asked to come up here and to share some words about Haiti, Ambassador. Sir, thank you very much for your elucidation of what the world really is. You know, we fed a world upside down than what it really is. And we really need to confront reality. The congressman earlier said that Haiti is not the poorest country, it's the most exploited, it's the most impoverished nation in probably the world. And there's a reason for that. In the midst of the Western world enjoying in the 1700s and early 1800s dominance over the economics of the world through the exploitation of African slaves. In the midst of that going on in the Western world, France benefiting from the profits that they were able to accrue from our backs, in the midst of the United States exploiting numerous millions of Africans in North America, in the midst of Latin America, benefiting from these exploits. Here comes some Africans on August 14, 1791, who pulled themselves together. But before I go there, though, one of the things that I heard a professor of African American history talk about, she said that for every day that Africans were enslaved, they were resisting. For every day, every minute, every second. And you could imagine that, because if you were in that situation, you would be fighting back, you would be resisting. But the Africans in Haiti had mobilized themselves, they organized themselves, and waged a 13-year protracted war to overthrow slavery in Haiti. They kicked the French out. And the thing about it is, at the time that they kicked the French out, and I'm not going to go into every detail, the Western world was so enraged. Of course, you know that after France was kicked out in 1804, they then organized in 1825 with an armada of ships threatening to reinvade us and demanded that we paid reparations. They demanded that we paid reparations for having stolen ourselves back. It was outrageous, but we had to pay reparations because it was a collaboration not only of France, but United States and others who put a lot of pressure on Haiti. In fact, the United States did not recognize Haiti for some 60 years after it gained its independence. It organized an embargo to try to choke this nation out of existence. And Haitians fought to try to overcome the situation, but then it took Haiti a number of years to recover. And then in 1915, the United States invaded and occupied Haiti from 1915 to 1934 and stole the whole treasury of the nation. And you know, the kind of racism that manifested itself, the kind of exploitation had continued. And so when we fought to organize ourselves to rebuild the nation, then they supported Papa Doc, a whole regime of dictators, to impose themselves. And they were in the middle of the fight, the Cold War, with the Soviet Union. And so they chose sides with with Papa Doc, which was terrorizing Haitian people. And so every time we took a couple steps forward, there was a pushback. And so Haitians under Papa Doc began to flee because they were being executed, and they began to create a significant diaspora. The diaspora that we have today has been an accumulation of 4 or 5 generations of Haitians who had been fleeing the nation, trying to live, trying to survive. And today, with all that has meant for Haiti, the brain drain that it had created, you know, some of us have analyzed the situation and we said that, you know what, the diaspora that exists today, the Haitian diaspora, is a gold lining. It's not just a silver lining, it's a gold lining for the nation now. Because we have stayed connected, we have stayed true to our cause. You know, I heard a sister say that Haiti is not just a nation, it's not just a territory, it's an ideology. And so Haitians are sovereign people who refuse to be subjugated, and so we continue to fight back wherever we might be. And so that is why today, while in Haiti itself, Dr. Ewa, the conditions have deteriorated because of the impoverishment, because of the force and pressure and the destruction that's been wrought against our people, the diaspora is raising up and saying, wait a minute, we are about 8 million folks in the United States. In 2008 and 2012, we were the X factor that caused the victory of President Obama. We are a significant population in Georgia now. We are a growing population that's making a difference. And that is why we say, you know what, let's stop putting Band-Aid on the ills of Haiti. Let's turn our attention to our interests here. We are taxpayers. We've lived here. We're a significant population. So we are demanding a Marshall Plan for Haiti. We're demanding that there be $50 billion invested in rebuilding, restabilizing the nation. That's what we're saying. And why do we get so ambitious at this particular point in time? Because we believe we have the population that will work with Congressman Jonathan Jackson, that will work with the Congressional Black Caucus, that will work with a number of elected officials to move this bill through Congress so that we can bring about some qualitative reconstruction of Haiti. It is important, and we think that the resurrection of Haiti is what's important right now. It is important because our people that have been dispersed throughout the world, it has gotten to a point where we couldn't even go back home. It has come to the point where those of us who have had families, it's been difficult to get back home. It's been difficult even to try to send stuff back home for our people to be able to get, because there's terror has been unleashed. And sometimes we say, well, it's our own people who will terrorize it. But where do they get those weapons? Where do they get the support? They get the support from our enemies, our historical enemies, that have refused to allow Haiti to stand back on its feet. Because as I said before, Haiti is not just a nation, it's an ideology. It's the Boukman, it's the Toussaint, it's the Dessalines. And we understand that because you remember when Haiti became independent, it helped liberate Africans who were enslaved in Latin America. It sent money and support to Simon Bolivar. It created chaos in the United States. It supported Gabriel Prosser, Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner to fight back. So Haiti, you have to conceive it and understand it and never give up on it, because the fight back is just beginning. It's not over, okay? So,
Before we get to our question and answer, can you please give me a round of applause? I think it's important for us to realize exactly what the judge has said. It's very important. Because I remember in 1979, when the Ayatollah Khomeini took over Iran against the Shah, you know who was responsible for that? Iranians in the diaspora. Yes, they were responsible for that. In France, in the United States, in Germany, in Europe, they formed a very, very cohesive organization that says, yes, we are going to take over our country from England, United States, and so on and so forth. And they brought back the Ayatollah Khomeini. So why am I saying this? It is for us in the diaspora to understand that what we do and what we say, how we do it, when we do it, makes a very big difference in terms of impacting the appropriate and necessary public policy issues that determine the destiny of our people at home. And before we get to that and our questions, I'd like to give our gentleman, the Honorable, to come and say something about what he thinks we should be doing in our respective countries. Thank you, sir. 3 minutes, sir.
Just very quickly, and this is first, good afternoon to all of you. I'm Todd Yeary. I've had the privilege, as many of us have, to work with Reverend Jackson and to learn from him in the constant conversation around a framework of how we engage across boundaries and borders. Part of what we're wrestling with is the continuing legacy of what occurred in the Berlin Conference in 1884. When the European countries gathered under the supervision and monitoring of the United States to make claims to carve up the continent of Africa, there were two fundamental principles that had to be established for a European power to make a claim. One, there had to be a justified economic interest in the portion of the continent that they were claiming. The second was the military wherewithal to defend it. Because that was the framework, then world dominance, which was the continuation of the trafficking in human bodies from the continent of Africa to support the labor market that would support the globalization of, at that time, agriculture that continues to other products to this day. We actually have to raise the issue of what is the international human rights platform upon which we raise valid claims. When the Republic of South Africa raised an issue before the International Court of Justice about what's going on in Gaza, there has been a great fear placed because that's a platform that, even though enforcement is still a challenge, it actually legitimizes the claims of injustice for oppressed peoples. As we are now 75 years in since the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, we need to go back and raise the question: are those principles valid only for certain countries and certain people within those countries? Or is that declaration indeed universal? I would suggest and I would argue, as Reverend Jackson has raised for us time and again, that we must make righteous demands even in the face of unrighteous process. And that means we must not only advocate, we have to collaborate across borders and interests, and we must participate in the process of change to hold leaders accountable. There must be a question, as the DNC is meeting this week: what is going to be the party's platform position around international human rights claims as it affects people of the African diaspora, and by what mechanism will we ensure that the enforcement and the application of human rights will indeed be universal? And so I thank you for your time and consideration. Let's collaborate, let's participate, let's advocate, one for all for one, in the name of human rights.
We need your support. Here are ways to give to Rainbow Push Coalition. Text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444 to support the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and Rainbow Push Coalition.
We're excited to get more people engaged and involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. Now, if you're interested in public policy and you want to help change the policies that impact those who are incarcerated, you can do so. If you're interested in impacting public policies that benefit education and businesses with social economic solutions, you can do that as well. You can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. Now, if you believe in the scholarships that we've given to thousands of students each year, you can help us out. We've awarded more than $10 million in scholarships year to date. Now, you can help young people achieve a higher education by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now for the annual fee of only $35. And if you're a student or a senior, it's only $15. you can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. Now, if you watch us every week, or if you listen to us on the radio, or if you're viewing on social media, we need you to become a member. And how do you become a member? It's simple. Visit us at rainbowpush.org and press join. Maybe you'd like to support the work of PUSH. If so, it's really simple. You can do so by texting the word PUSH, that's P-U-S-H, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount that you feel comfortable giving, or you can call us at 773-256-2775 or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. So whenever you want to support, you can do it from anywhere. So keep pushing, because we're going to keep pushing for you and keep hope alive.
I think what I'm going to do is let me give our representative a time to introduce the congresswoman from Florida. She's the first black woman to get that position in Florida. The first. Well, let me just stop there. Congressman Jonathan, would you please do me the favor of introducing her? I'm not paying you for that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Iwa. Iwa representing the great state of Lagos. And we have our own self-counselor that is here today, our general counselor, plenipotentiary. Thank you so much for having been here today. I'd also like to acknowledge one of our board members, a young man that I met 41 years ago. When I asked him, what do you want to do when you grow up? He told me civil rights. And it was 41 years ago that he took that challenge on. Since then, the Lord has done such magnificent, great things with him, but he has always kept his commitment to civil rights. So why is he here today? He could be so many places in such demand, but this is where his home is, this is where his heart is. I'd like to invite on the stage the Honorable Judge Greg Mathis. Please join us on the stage. At any time he wants to take over the stage, he can. No, there's only one judge per venue. Sheila Sherflis McCormick is the senior to me in the United States Congress. She comes from Florida. She is the first American of Haitian ancestry to make it into the United States House of Representatives. I'm talking about a country that fought to make America free, a country that fought in the Battle of Savannah, a country that has fought to awaken the consciousness of the African people across the diaspora. Without them, who knows when we would have seen freedom. We thank God for the Haitian spirit. We thank God that is also in Sheila Sherflis McCormick. Sheila is one of our rising stars in the Congress. I'm going to ask her to come and say a few words with us. She has on the Foreign Affairs Committee with me. She is our go-to person. We look forward to her on leadership. And one last thing I will let you know. Sometimes we get to speak with the Secretary of State Blinken and other people. These debates will go on for 3.5 hours before the lowest people on the rung, myself, don't get a chance to ask a question. But what heightens my heart and gives me so much hope is that I will know that so long as my partner, Sheila Sherflis McCormick, is in there, she is going to raise the issue of Haiti every time, right there with Secretary Blinken. What about the people of Haiti? She won't let them get it off of their mind. We can spend 3.5 hours in session, and there will be one question about Africa and only 2 questions about Haiti. This is why as soon as we leave here and we organize, when we have these open meetings, I want our people to come and see who is making these decisions, so this way we can turn it around and be lifted up and put Africa, Middle East, diaspora, Haiti back on the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, Speaker, I rise today to introduce to you the Honorable Sheila Sherflis McCormick.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say such a great thank you so much to Jonathan Jackson and your father, Reverend Jackson, for all you've done for the city of Chicago. I can't tell you how much of an honor it really is to serve with Jonathan. Every country we go to, yes, let's applaud him, because every country we go to, Jonathan has that relationship. Jonathan knows them. He knows the issues. So it truly is an honor to be able to serve with someone who knows so much information, who has the heart to fight, just like his father. So we're proud of you every single day, Jonathan, for the work that you do. I also want to say a very big thank you to Judge Lionel. You know, when I was coming, Judge Lionel called me and he said, Sheila, I know you're coming. I have to see you. We're going to make sure we're there. And thank you so much to the Haitian community who came out. I can't say thank you enough. You know, you guys made me feel like I was at home, because as I'm walking in, and I said, bon, est-ce que ça a dû avec sauce pois? Ça m'a senti là. I said, is that du collé? Me senti moi j'aime là. And the funny thing is, when we landed, I said to my chief of staff, I said, you know, I can't come home and not eat Haitian food. First stop, look what y'all had. Y'all had Haitian food. So, you know, Haitian people know this kind of stuff, but I say so many thank yous to you for having us here, because, you know, you guys give us the will to fight every day. When we see what's been going on traditionally and for decades in Haiti and Africa, my partner is Jonathan Jackson, to be very, very clear. And we always make sure that we uplift Haiti and Africa for two reasons. Recompense. We need to make sure that we pay back Haiti and Africa for what we have done to Haiti and Africa. The second reason why we fight so hard is because Haiti and Africa are ours. We are the diaspora. That is our homeland. Those are our family members. What happens in Haiti happens to us here. What happens in Africa happens to us here. And so we are committed to make sure that Haiti and Africa can rise to its rightful place. And in the CBC, we like to say, rising like a phoenix. And we understand that it's the work that we do today, the diligent work we do, that's going to make that a reality. We can no longer talk about these policies that we have when it comes to Africa and Haiti and say that it's been working, because everybody in this room knows it has not. Haiti has been exploited, has been had so much external interventions, and had so many companies come in and take so many resources out and talent out. And so what we have to do is reimagine a new Haiti and what that looks like. And what I always tell everybody, it looks like us. There's no way we can move forward in Haiti without having the diaspora at the forefront. There's no way we can move forward in Haiti without having the diaspora writing the rules and regulations of engagement when it comes to Haiti and the United States. And we have to make sure that we're making these demands upfront and personal. No longer could we allow people to make promises of, we're going to help Haiti. What does that look like? Right now, we're fighting to push forth a Marshall Plan, making sure that we actually have the investments in Haiti. And with our investments, we're not talking about $1,000, $1 million, but we're talking about billions of dollars over a series of years. Now, those billions of dollars over a series of years will never bring us back to where we were more than a decade ago, or even a century ago when all of it was stolen from us. But it is a beginning, and we have to understand that. The second part that we have to understand when it comes to engaging Haiti is to make sure that we're not just putting money into Haiti so we can have just help in Haiti or humanitarian aid in Haiti or even helping the economic situation. But we have to have sustainable economic parameters there. What that means is businesses. Are our businesses getting the loans that they need? Right now, we have the DFC that gives loans to countries that are at risk. How much money do we have set aside to help people who want to work in Haiti? What the DFC actually does, it allows you to get insurance to actually do business in countries that are actually politically unstable. So if you want to go work in Haiti, you should be able to get that loan, get that insurance. And if somehow you lose your money, you're able to get your insurance policy back. But why aren't we hearing about that when it comes to Haiti? Why aren't we hearing more about it when it comes to Africa? Because the funds are being used somewhere else. But we have a responsibility to demand that it's being used here. And so that's what we're doing, is making those demands forward, putting those demands forward. The last thing I want to end with when we talk about Africa, and I always bring up Africa because Africa is dear to me just like it is for all of us here. We talk about Haiti, and we talk about, you know, the motherland and who we are, but anybody who's been to Haiti, it's undeniable that we are African. Haitian people never say that we're European. We tell you we are African, from the way we wear our hair, from the food that we eat, from the way that we dance, from how we even address our elders and the respect we have for our family members. We are Africans, so we see Africa. Just like Americans here are African, and we see Africa, and we understand this moment and what it means to us. And so as we move forward and we try to make sure that we're being seen and heard, let's remember what's going on right now. As I'm looking at the sign in the back that says Haitian American and for Harrison Waltz, it means much more to me. I remember the first time I went to Ghana, it was with the vice president. The vice president called me and said, Sheila, I need you ready. Within 4 hours, we're flying to Ghana. We're going to go to Tanzania, and we're going to go and announce funding that's going to be happening in Africa. Now, mind you, I could have been in Congress then probably for like a month. And I said, who, me? I'm going to Africa with you to go do this? And what happened there changed my entire life. When we got off that plane, they welcomed us as family. When we got off that plane, we actually talked a language that no one else understood. You know, when you're talking to your family members, you're not talking about putting them down and what they need to do to be better. You're not looking at them from a perspective of superiority. You're looking at them from an equal perspective of how can I help you and how could you help me? That conversation went much further than traditionally when we've seen other faces come into Africa and condemn Africa for its policies, its politics, and its way of life. That must end if we're going to move forward. In addition to that, she said, Sheila, you know why we're here? And I said, well, what are we doing here? She's like, our responsibility is to de-risk Africa's economy, to engage Africa, and to make sure that the diaspora is upfront and personal. And with that, we've done that every single day. On that trip, we actually took a group of people, it was a private sector, and we looked at different ways they can invest in Africa. Now, these are American companies who are looking for other economic means to invest in other economies. Africa's economy is over $1 trillion economy. Could you imagine if we were able to succeed in our feat? The conversation we would be having right now, it would not just be about our economic opportunities within the United States, but our economic opportunities around the world. And that's what our work is to do. Our work for this generation is to do that. So as we come together and we talk about what we're doing and we refocus, and the Rainbow Push Coalition has us here at this convention, let's reimagine what we're here to do. This is a great moment to be alive, not just to elect the vice president to be the first black woman, but it's a great moment to be alive so we can see our dreams realized. This is our destiny moment to ensure that we all rise.
Congresswoman Sheriff Elise McCormick, we came here for you. The Haitian Americans are in the room, and you know we're in the room. The House Resolution 1241 that introduced an opportunity to rebuild our motherland, our homeland of Haiti. Why is it not moving forward? It's been introduced since May. We're in August. You and Congressman Jackson are both on the Foreign Affairs Committee. What do we need to do to support you? What is it that we need to do to get it basically, I'm hoping that it can get to Madam President. That's what I'm hoping for. What do we need to do?
The biggest thing we can do to pass that is to give us the House. You know, we've been fighting to get money into Haiti from the beginning of this session. We fought to make sure that we can have humanitarian aid go into Haiti. And the response that we got from Republicans were no, that they don't want to throw good money after bad money. When it came to the money that we asked even to support the mission for stability, they refused to release $40 million. Understand, $40 million in the context of giving Ukraine hundreds of millions of dollars, and we just asked for 40, okay? For stability in our backyard. You understand what kind of slap in the face that was? They released only $10 million and said, we want you to actually stabilize the entire country and go ahead and make sure that while you're doing that, you rehabilitate the gang members who are kids who are underneath the age of 14 years old. Impossible to do. And the Republicans do this over and over and over again. We introduced our legislation to make sure that we can get everybody on record. The reason why it's important to get everybody on record is because this is an election year. And not only is it an election year, they have a lot of Republicans who have large Haitian demographics. And they all say they support Haitian people. And so I said to them, sign the bill then. Go ahead and sign the bill today. I want you to sign it. And some of them have, but a lot of them haven't. So we have to hold them accountable. If you represent us, if you believe in Haiti, I want you to go ahead and sign that Marshall Plan. So that's what we have to do. Keep leaning on them and make them prove themselves. Because the work that we have to do in Haiti, it's not a little work. When we talk about the millions of children who are in these gangs right now who need to be rehabilitated, when we talk about the economic infrastructure that has to actually be in place so people have an opportunity to work, it's not something little. When we talk about transition government right now that's fighting and only has a limit of, 18 months left so they can meet the April Accords so they can have an election, this is not a little feat. It's gonna take a lot of work from all of us to actually get there. But to be honest with you, I believe we can get there because I have never seen as many Haitian diaspora and Black people interested in helping Haiti now than ever before.
Get involved with the movement.
Somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Join the movement.
If you're not a member, become a member.
I am somebody. Fighting the most important battles for freedom and justice for all.
You made us change. Oh, trying to bring closer.
Join Rainbow Push.
But you're not pushing me away.
Join the movement. Join Rainbow Push.
Before we move on to our next conversation, I would like to call in Dr. Matthews to please come in and say something. Anywhere you want.
He said, I'm the man. My wife doesn't think so. Nonetheless, thank you all for coming. Such a great honor for me to have been, as we speak, with the organization for over 40 years. First as a member, now as the co-chair of Rainbow Push Excel. And my commitment to Reverend Jackson and the organization is unending and unbending. So I'm glad to be here, and thank you, Congresswoman, for giving us our international perspective, which is very important, because international politics is big on the list of things these days, and I put down a couple of notes while you were speaking. I wasn't being rude when I was texting. I thought I might get a pop-up request to speak, so I said I better pop up some stuff. But we really need the Democrats to address some of the issues that the Black community aren't hearing about. We need to hear more about what the polls say we're interested in. Polls say Black folks are more interested in racial justice, policing, voting rights, economic opportunity, and education reform. Yet, we hear little or nothing about that. Black people on this poll didn't say the war in the Middle East or Ukraine wasn't anywhere on the list of our concerns. Some have a concern, as I do and many of us, about the women's right to control their body. Many don't in our community care about that issue, but it's the issue of the Democratic Party. And not even immigration. Now, talking about Central and South America immigration. That's not our beef. Here in Chicago, of course, we have a concern because we have a federal government that has not subsidized Chicago's intake of immigrants that have been dumped on them here. And that's where we need the help. We need to talk about that. In fact, all the Black mayors in America were the first to have immigrants dumped in their cities by buses, the Black mayors. And then the citizens began to criticize the Black mayor, who has no control because the federal and state government aren't giving him any help. So that's why we have folks on the street, in camps, in hotels, getting cell phones. That's all right. We want to be humane. We believe in humanity, and we thank God we're able to provide that. But we need help doing that, and that's the state and federal government. So I want you all to get off of my mayor, Brandon Johnson. Get off of him. Get off of them. And so, I got to say, on international affairs, you know, black folks died in Italy, died in France, died in Germany, in Vietnam, in Iraq, and returned to dilapidated ghettos. While we rebuilt Europe with a Marshall Plan. No Marshall Plan for America. No Marshall Plan for the ghettos of America where we return those men to after subjecting them to hardship on the war on the front line. We'll be rebuilding Gaza. They're already talking about that. They're already talking about the amount of money it's going to take to rebuild Gaza, and we got to have it because the war has. Well, we hope the Ukrainians win. We have compassion for the immigrants. We mourn for the terrorist attack in Israel. We weep. We weep for the inhumane treatment and killings and murders of those in Gaza by the Israeli government. But you know, at some point, we got to ask, who is going to mourn and weep for us? Who is going to mourn and weep for these parents who are losing their babies after the guns and drugs have been dumped in their community, and subject your children to a substandard education where they can't even compete even if they wanted to, and then they eliminate the only equalizer in college, affirmative action, so that they can put our children further behind. You remove a quality education, replace it with guns and drugs. Then those left standing, you subject them to a criminal justice industrial complex that seeks to make money off the misery they have allowed to fester in our community. And then you want to talk about going over to Europe and rebuilding Europe. No, I'm not interested in rebuilding Ukraine or any other country. And you know, I want you to weep and I want you to mourn for Haiti. I want you to weep and I want you to mourn for Sudan. I want you to weep and I want you to mourn about the things that are happening in Nigeria and other countries that are being affected by international policies of the United States. Send Haiti some weapons. 80% of the country is taken over by gangs, and we're standing by and watch. Send Haiti some guns. You like to send guns so much. Thank you all for listening. God bless you.
Thank you for tuning in to our International Saturday morning broadcast. We need your support. Here are ways to give to Rainbow Push Coalition. Text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444 to support the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and Rainbow Push Coalition.
People often ask, why should I vote? And to be honest, voting is a sacred right. And if it wasn't so important, then there would not have been a distinctive effort to minimize one's vote. So while the 2024 election may seem far away, it really is right around the corner. So I want to encourage you to start thinking to yourself, do I have my voter plan together? Do I know where my polling location is? Do I know who's going to be on the ballot this election? And don't just ask this question of yourselves, but I want to encourage you to talk to your family and friends about this as well. Because here's the thing, voting is the one way in which you can actively participate in bringing about the change that you want to see. But to be completely honest with you, voting alone is not enough. It is so important that those of us who can and are willing to do so that we put forth the effort to assist those in our community who might have challenges at the polls. So if you are interested in assisting others, then I would like to encourage you to participate in election protection. There are so many components to the election protection program. We have a hotline of volunteers who answer questions for those who call in, but we also have an election protection program where we have poll monitors and we have poll watchers. And this is where you can actively participate in your community and be at the polls to assist voters and to monitor what's going on at all times. If this is something that you are interested in, please reach out to us at Common Cause Illinois, where we would love to talk to you more about the program that we have. As I mentioned, it seems like the primaries are far away, but they are just around the corner. So make sure that you're prepared and that you have everything together for you to be able to vote. And the very first step that you need to take to do that is make sure that you're registered. But please be an active participant in this upcoming election, and don't just stop at voting. Try to find some of the various ways that you can get involved, whether it's election protection or other programs that might be out there. And if you yourself are a voter who runs into issues at the polls, then please be sure that around election time and during early voting that you reach out to the hotline 866-OUR-VOTE, and someone will be there to assist you.
We are sanctuary. We are a sanctuary.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of two words: social justice.
Education advocacy.
Political empowerment.
Freedom and equality.
Corporate partnership.
Stop the violence. Save the children.
Don't get in. Shut it down. If we don't get in, shut it down.
Political change.
Inclusion, evolution. Progress, justice.
Jesse Jackson.
Keep hope. Keep hope alive. Alive. Keep hope. Keep hope alive. Alive.
We want to be bridges to end these cultural gaps.
Going forward. By hope. Not backwards. By fear.